Hi friends, good morning to one and all. How are you all? Are you well? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, Girija Sinkar, fine sir. Priyanka, hi ma, good morning. Sudhir, good morning ma. Fine ma, going good. Girija Sinkar. Sai Teja, how are you? Jashwant, are you feeling good? Yeah, hope everything and every person is being safe. So without wasting much time, so let us start with our employee stock option plan, ESOP. In last session, we completed entire theoretical aspects related to ESOP. So let me quickly revise things till now what we have discussed in this chapter, employee stock option plan. Once again, so let me spotlight my video, then you can easily visible it. Fine. So we started ESOP with a basic intro under layman approach. Sir, in generally, employee stock option plan is offered in any entity to reduce either employee turnover or to create ownership among the stakeholders, or which are nothing but employees, to get the real efficiency of the employees or to increase their efficiency. So once they felt they are not only the employees of the organization, but also the stakeholders of the entity, then they will get some ownership rights. They will act as a owners, and the real efficiency will given to the employer. So the meaning of employee stock option plan, it is an agreement entered in between employer and certain key employees, which gives right to subscribe certain number of equity shares, which is only a right but not a compulsion. That means they will get a right. They will not obligate to subscribe. They will only get a right to subscribe certain number of equity shares at a predetermined price in a future date, in compliance with certain conditions. So the conditions may be like performance based conditions. That means, sir, if company achieved certain target profit, or the company may achieve certain market share, or the employee should stay with certain period of time with the organization. It may be anything. It may be performance based. It may be some other conditions may also. Then if employee complete conditions, then they will get a right to subscribe certain number of equity shares at a future date at a predetermined rate. Fine. Sir, accounting treatment related to legal perspective. So depending upon the place where you are staying, that is in India, existing accounting standards are applicable to those entities. Guidance note issued by ICAI will be applicable. For those entities, Indian accounting standards will be applicable. Ind AS 102, accounting for share-based payment standard will be applicable. It is out of the scope of our syllabus. We may see the Ind AS 102 under CA final curriculum vitae. So coming to international view, IFRS 2 will be applicable. International Financial Reporting Standard 2 will be applicable. Fine. Sir, this employee stock option plan is part of the share-based payments topic in CA final under Ind AS 102. Some other topics will also exist. Employee stock purchase plan, stock appreciation right, but which will not exist right now. So technical terms here we are using in generally to demonstrate employee stock option plan accounting treatment. So before going with the real accounting treatment, that's why first I demonstrated the technical terms. Sir, what is meant by date of grant? The plan which was built by the internal management was ultimately approved in their approving authority meeting. It may be board of directors meeting, and the ultimate plan was announced to the employees, and it was ultimately accepted by the employees. That date is technically known as date of grant, which was taken by me 1/4/2013. Sir, let us assume the vesting period will be 3 years and the vesting condition will be employees who stayed with the organization minimum period of 3 years, or they will get a right to subscribe certain number of equity shares. Such a right will be offered after expiry of 3 years, which is the last date of the vesting period, which is technically known as date of vesting. I already told you, sir, what is meant by vesting? Vesting, the literal meaning for the vesting is you should comply as per the agreement. Vesting period, so comply as per the plan. Vesting condition, those may be performance based condition or maybe any other condition. How to comply as per plan, such conditions are vesting conditions. Now once vesting period expired, that means over, then employees will get right to subscribe certain number of equity shares. Then the time period offered to subscribe certain number of equity shares by the employees from employer is technically known as exercise period. That means we may not offer any single day to subscribe certain number of equity shares. We will offer certain time period to subscribe certain number of equity shares. Such a time period is technically known as exercise period. Once exercise period over, employees will lose their right, then which is technically known as lapse of options or options lapsed. Such options are known as vested options lapsed. Why? Because those options are already having a right to subscribe certain number of equity shares, but employees unable to subscribe any number of shares. That's why it is known as vested options lapsed. But sometimes during the vesting period, if employees unable to satisfy certain conditions, they may left the organization, may happen any other things due to which their options will be lapsed during the vesting period itself. Such options lapsed are technically known as unvested options. Unvested options. That means options lapsed may be two types. Options lapsed may be two types. Options. Options lapsed may be two types. Those may be unvested options lapsed, vested options lapsed. Unvested options lapsed means these are lapsed during the vesting period. During vesting period. So vested options lapsed means lapsed after exercise period. After exercise period. After exercise. Hope you understand. So let me go with the real accounting treatment as per the guidance note. As per the guidance note. Sir, the real accounting treatment is only under one sentence. I draw it as a conclusion. Value of the option should be amortized over the vesting period. That's it. That is the only single line sentence is the accounting treatment. Value of the option should be amortized over the vesting period. What is meant by value of the option? Which is nothing but discount. In layman approach, which is nothing but discount. How can we find out value of option? It may be find out in fair value method, or it can be find out in intrinsic value method. In case of the fair value method, value of the option is the difference between estimated market price as on date of exercise. Estimated market price as on date of exercise. That is the date as on which employee is really going to subscribe certain number of equity shares. Minus exercise price as on date of exercise. That is exercise price, simply, this is not as on date of exercise. Exercise price offered by employer, which was offered as on date of grant itself, right? Why? Because at which value employee have a right to subscribe certain number of equity shares decided as on date of grant itself. That's the exercise price offered by employer. So the difference itself is the value of option in case of fair value method. In case of intrinsic value method, market price as on date of grant minus exercise price offered by employer. Again, exercise price offered by employer again. So the only difference in between fair value method and intrinsic value method is fair value means on accuracy we are going to take estimated market price as on date of exercise. So on exercise date, what will be the market price of the share? Then you can compare with exercise price. Then you will get the real discount, real approximation discount. Under intrinsic value method, the market price you are calculating as on date of grant, but the real discount will be market price as on date of exercise minus exercise price. But here they are taking market price as on date of grant. There may be a chance of occurring difference between market price as on date of grant and market price as on date of exercise. But they are taking base as market price as on date of grant. That's why this is not under fair value method. This is under intrinsic value method. Sir, which method we are going to follow? That is decided by the problems itself. If nothing was mentioned, that is market price which was given as on date of grant or market price which was given as on date of exercise, simply they given market price also sometimes in the problem, you can directly take such market price for the purpose of calculation of the value of the option. So if both the information is given, then you can go with the fair value method, which is the accurate method. Okay. Then I demonstrated through one illustration where as on 1/4/2013, 100 employees are there, 10 options are issued, exercise price will be 30 rupees. But the real market price was 39. So the value of option will be 9 rupees. 9 rupees. Am I right, friends? Now at the end of the first year, as on 31st March 2014, I have to record expenditure as well as liability. The concept is based on the matching concept. I told you, sir, due to this employee stock option plan, there may be a chance of increase in the employee efficiency. Due to that, there may be a chance of occurring your revenue. If there is an increase in revenue, so in the opposite direction, you should also record expenditure. But right now it was not due. No need to pay any single penny to the employee right now in the form of discount. No need to bear any liability with you. So no need to pay right now. That's why you have to record it as a liability. That is employee compensation expenditure accounted to ESOP outstanding account we recorded. Hope you get it, friends. Yesterday class I already discussed in the elaborative manner. Then how much employee compensation expenditure I'm going to record here, sir. That is, sir, discount 9 rupees, right? That is, if discount per option, it will be 9 rupees. That is value of option 9 rupees. 100 into 10 into 9 divided by 3 years. If you want cross check it, 100 into 10 into 9 divided by 3, which will get ultimately leads to 3,000. Now employee compensation expenditure should be charged to P&L account, P&L to employee compensation expenditure. At the end, we will pass this entry also. And the next coming year, sorry, ma?
Sir, someone is waiting, sir.
Oh, sorry, it is not appearing for me. Oh my God. Yeah, I admitted everyone. Okay. Thank you, Rahul.
Okay.
Sorry, Amma. Even I unable to see your chat box also. Shrivani also mentioned, so some persons are waiting. Okay, thanks for information and sorry for the other guys, friends. I unable to see it. Why? Because if I made a big screen, then remaining other things are not appearing to me. And one more thing, can you please confirm me in that big screen, are you able to see my video?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Now coming to the year 31st March 2015. So the same procedure we are going to follow. Still employee compensation expenditure to ESOP outstanding. Here the balance under ESOP outstanding 3,000 plus 3,000, 6,000 is there. Employee compensation expenditure again transferred to profit and loss account. Now coming to 31st March 2016, again the same entry and employee compensation expenditure charged to profit and loss account. Then exercise period will be 3 years. At the end of the exercise period, which will be 30th 6 2016, so employer is going to issue equity shares to all employees, or employees subscribe certain number of equity shares as per their plan. Now they will get, employer will get bank account at 100 into 10 into 30 by, because exercise price was 30, which leads to 30,000. To equity share capital 100 into 10 into 10 face value will be 10 rupees, always created with the face value. To securities premium in the outside market, it was quoted at 39. So 10 means 29 will be the premium, 100 into 10 into 29, which will be 29,000. Now the amount which was unable to recoverable from the employees is nothing but discount. We already created the liability long back. You can set off such liability right now with the discount component, which was ESOP outstanding will be the 9,000. And in yesterday class itself, I take one more case, one more different case. Sir, out of all the employees, 10 employees not exercised the option. That means not exercised the option means vested options lapsed. Vested options lapsed. Will you agree with me, guys? Vested options lapsed. Why? Because after exercise period, after exercise period, they don't want to exercise the option means after exercise period, they will be automatically lapsed. Such options are technically known as vested options. Then how will you going to pass the journal entry, sir? That means remaining 90 employees are ready to subscribe certain number of equity shares, 90 into 10 into 30. To equity share capital 90 into 10 into 10, 90 into 10 into 29. So ESOP outstanding also you vanish it to the extent of 90 employees, which will be 90 into 10 into 9, which leads to 8,100. Sir, now what about remaining other 10 employees ESOP outstanding account? So which was previously created for 100 employees, already 90 employees were vanished. For the remaining 10 employees, ESOP outstanding balance should be transferred to general reserve. The basic idea or the basic background behind to transfer balance under ESOP outstanding to general reserve is, at the time of creation of ESOP outstanding, we passed one journal entry, that is P&L to ESOP outstanding. Yes, this is the correct entry only. I mean to say, employee compensation expenditure to ESOP outstanding you created. Employee compensation expenditure was ultimately charged to P&L means P&L to ESOP outstanding. But right now, the balance which was appearing under ESOP outstanding is not related to a single accounting period, which related to multiple accounting periods. That's why on behalf of to credit to P&L, I am crediting general reserve account. Nothing is great here except that. Okay. So almost till now, I discussed in my last class, that is yesterday session. Am I right, friends? Can you please confirm at least 1%? Till now only I discussed, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
That's great, ma'am. That's great. And persons who are unable to join in yesterday's class, I already shared the yesterday video in the respective group. Please grab it till if anybody unable to see it, at least you can see for the today's session. Okay, so let me continue with the today's session, friends. Today is 7/9/2020. So let me start with the practical illustrations part. Then I will discuss remaining all other issues, friends. One more thing. So before directly start with illustration number 1, just I want to emphasize only one fact, friends. Sir, ESOP outstanding account in balance sheet, where we have to present as per the guidance given in schedule Schedule 3. ESOP outstanding account should be shown under reserves and surplus. Should be shown under reserves and surplus as a separate line item. As a separate line item. ESOP outstanding account, even though if it is a liability, under the balance sheet, as per the guidance given in Schedule 3, it should be shown under reserves and surplus as a separate line item, friends. Please remember that point also. If at any point of time in the problem, generally we are not going to prepare any balance sheet, but after completion of the ESOP, if in any problem or in the examination, there is a necessity to prepare the balance sheet in very remote areas, at that point of time, it may be useful. Okay. So let us proceed with problematic part, friends. Let us proceed with problematic part. That is illustration number 1. We can go with study mat. Illustration number 1. First, let me take up illustration number 2. Then I will come with illustration number 1. First, let me take up illustration number 2. Then I come with illustration number 1. Yes. Who will ready to read, ma? Who can able to read? You can start from your end, friends. I'm giving a voluntary choice to you. Who wants to read? May I know? At least put in the chat box. Just a second. Srivani. Yes, ma, you can start. Srivani, start reading illustration number 2. Srivani, did you start it, ma? No, I am unable to listen your voice. Okay, Srivani told there is some disturbance from her end. Then let me go in the traditional way. That is Rahul. Rahul will be available, I think so, always.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Rahul, you can read.
ABC Limited grants 1000 employee stock options on 1/4/2010 at 40 rupees when the market price is 160 rupees. The vesting period is 2.5 years and the maximum exercise period is 1 year. 300 unvested options lapse on 1/5/2012. 600 options are exercised on 30th June 2013. 100 vested options lapse at the end of the exercise period. Ask journal entries giving suitable narration.
Right. So concentrate, all of you. ABC Limited grants 1000 employee stock options on 1/4/2010 at 40 rupees. When the market price is 160. That means exercise price will be 40 and market price will be 160. May I know the value of option? Please participate, all of you. May I know the value of option?
120.
120. That's correct. That's great. There is a difference between market price and exercise price. But the market price, we don't know whether it is estimated market price available as on date of exercise or the market price as on date of grant. We don't know. Simply just they mentioned the market price. That's it. So the value of option will be 120, as you said, exactly correct. The vesting period is 2.5 years and the maximum exercise period is 1 year. 300 unvested options lapse on 1/5/2012. 300 unvested options lapse on 1/5/2012. 600 options are exercised on 30th/6/2013. 100 vested options lapse at the end of the exercise period. Pass the journal entries giving suitable narrations. Sir, I can tell you a simplest method to resolve the problem here. So before directly start with the journal entries, first you have to draft the entire problem through a simple small diagrammatic representation. Then you can easily draft all the journal entries. So let me start with first drawing the diagrammatic representation of information. Just wait. Just now I saw this future, so let us use it. Okay. Sir, dog, date of grant. So given in the problem, if you observe, which was 1/4/2010, 1/4/2010, 1/4/2010 is the date of grant. Okay. Then vesting period, if you observe, given 2.5 years. Vesting period given 2.5 years. So that is vesting period. Vesting period given 2.5 years. If vesting period will be 2.5 years, may I know the date of vesting? 1/4/2010 to 1/4/2011, 1 year. 1/4/2011 to 1/4/2012, 2 years. From there, 6 months. That means 1/4/2012 plus 6 months means
10.
Yes, 1/10/2012. 1/10/2012 is the date of vesting. You are exactly correct. So which will be 1/4/2012. Will be the date of vesting. So let me draft the number of years also. That is in the simple manner. 1/4/2011 is the end of the first year. 1/4. Oh, sorry, this is 110. So this is 110, right? So then 1/4/2012 is the end of the second year, and which will be 6 months. So 2.5 years forward. Then they gave 1 year of the exercise period. If you saw, and the maximum exercise period is 1 year. So if the exercise period is 1 year, that means exercise period will be taken as 1 year. Sir, what will be the last date of the exercise, sir? And what will be the last date of the exercise? Last date of exercise. Come on, friends. From 1/10/2012 to last date of the exercise, it will be, come on, all of you. 1/10/2013. So options lapsed after 1/10/2013 are technically known as vested options lapsed. Vested options lapsed. So during the vesting period, if any options lapsed, then such options are technically known as unvested options. So this is the vesting period. This is the vesting period. Just for informative, just I'm drafting here. This is the information, right? Now let me check the problem in very easy manner. ABC Limited grants 1,000 employee stock options on 1/4/2010. Okay. How many number of stock options are in it? 1,000 stock options. Just I'm putting here 1,000 stock options. Number of options itself is given. On 1/4/2010 at rupees 40. So exercise price is equal to 40. One more information. And as you know, the market price will be 160. Market price given is equal to 160. So the value per option, we already decided value per option, the difference between market price and exercise price, which leads to 120. The vesting period is 2.5 years, already wrote here. Then the maximum exercise period is 1 year, already represented here. Now, 300 unvested options lapse on 1/5/2012. 1/5/2012 means here 300 unvested options. If we observe here, he mentioned unvested. If any option lapsed during the vesting period, it should be read as unvested options. So here 300 unvested options were lapsed. 300 unvested options lapsed. Okay. On 1/5/2012. On 1/5/2012. Exactly. You can put this one also 1/5/2012. 1/5/2012. Next. 600 options are exercised on 30/6/2013. 30/6/2013. So they add 1 year time period, but options are exercised as on 30/6/2013 itself. How many options are ante? 600 options. 600 options exercised. Can you please tell me, out of 1000 options, 300 options were already lapsed and 600 options are exercised? 600 plus 300 means already 900 over. Then 100 options were vested options were lapsed. 100 vested options were lapsed. 100 vested options were lapsed. 100 vested options lapsed at the end of the exercise period. Pause the journal entries giving suitable narrations. That's it, friends. Now, no need to see anything under the problem. Just I will only concentrate on the diagrammatic representation. All of you, I need quick answers from you, friends. So let me start with the journal entries first. Journal entries. So date is relevant for me. Let me take the date is relevant for me. Then particulars. Then debit aspect and the credit aspect, as you know. So this is the format of the typical journal. So first we should start with at the end of the first year, at the time of entering into the agreement, that is as on doc, no need to pass any entry. At the end of the first year only, the entries, real entries will be started. Why? Because we have to recognize expenditure as well as a liability. So let us start with the date, that was 31st March 2011, which is the end of the first year. That is 1/4/2011 or 31st March 2011, both are same. Sir, as on 31st March 2011, I am going to pass one journal entry, employee compensation expenditure account data to ESOP outstanding account. How much amount, sir? Now all of you apply the accounting treatment. Value of the option should be amortized. Over the vesting period. That is the one sentence of the accounting treatment, right? Sir, value of the option. So let me calculate the value of the option, the total value of the option. I know already the value of option 120. This is for only one option. At the end of 31st March 2011, as per my basis, as per the available information, 1000 stock options are exist. Why? Because here there is no single option was unvested option was lapsed as on 1/4/2011. Am I right? So as per my basis, 1000 option will exist. Or 1000 employees will exercise their option. That is my best estimate. 1000 into value per option 120. 1000 into 120. Sir, how many years is the vesting period, sir? And divided by 2.5 years. May I know how much employee compensation expenditure I am going to record?
48,000.
1000 into 120 divided by 2.5. That leads to 48,000. Absolutely correct. 48,000. Sir, narration. Sir, always at the time of drafting narration, there is no hardcore rule exists, friends. According to your mindset, what will happen, just to think about it and just to put the narration. For example, here what will happen, sir? Here what will happen? Employee compensation expenditure recorded being, start with being employee compensation expenditure recorded and ESOP outstanding liability created. That's it. That's as your view, as simple as possible, you can write it. Why? Because narration itself means the meaning of the journal entry. So that's why there is a no thumb rule here. So anyway, so let us proceed with the further, friends. Proceed with the further. That is 31st. Or one more entry you have to pass now. What is that entry? Come on, friends. Employee compensation expenditure should be closed and transferred to profit and loss account. That is profit and loss account data to employee compensation expenditure account. That will be 48,000 and 48,000. Oh. Now coming to at the end of 31st March 2012. Participate, friends, all of you. 31st March 2012. 31st March 2012. Now all of you follow the diagrammatic representation only. From 1/4/2011 to 31st March 2012, is there any investor options lapsed? No. No, sir. That means if you see 300 investor options are lapsed as of 1/5/2012. That means up to 31st March 2012, at the end of 31st March 2012, we assumed that 1000 stock options, 1000 employees, that is 1000 option holders, will exercise their options. Again, we are continuing the same employee compensation expenditure per annum only. That is employee compensation expenditure account data to ESOP outstanding account. To ESOP outstanding account. Now tell me, which will be the same amount, 1000 into 120 divided by 2.5. That is 48,000. 48,000 here. Now again the same thing, that is employee compensation expenditure should be closed and transferred to P&L account, P&L to employee compensation expenditure, which leads to 48,000. These are all the normal things. No need to discuss anything. Now, after 31st March 2012, I am at 31st March 2013. Why? Because, sir, my accounting period will be 1 year, right? That is financial year will be 1 year. After 1/4/2012, I am at 31st March. That is after 31st March 2012, I am at 31st March 2013. 31st March 2013. So first let me proceed with 31st March 2013. 31st March 2013. Now, from 1/4/2012 to, if we go to 31st March 2013, if we take for example, which is 31st March 2013. So let us put here, which is 31st March 2013. So many things happen, sir. Sir, what are the so many things happen? So the next 6 months will continue the vesting period. The next 6 months will continue the vesting period. During such vesting period, first 300 unvested options were lapsed. During such a vesting period, 300 options were lapsed. That's why such options lapsed are technically known as unvested options. That is the first and foremost thing. And as on 31st March 2013, any option was exercised by employees or no, not it happened. Even though it was under the exercise period, once date of vesting crossed, exercise period started. The entire thing was exercise period. But in this gap, even single share was not subscribed by the employee. That's why as on 31st March 2013, first of all, what I have to do, I have to create employee compensation expenditure for the 6 months. Now consider, friends, all of you. Sir, 300 options, 300 unvested options, lapsed means, as per your calculation, how many options are going to exercise? 1000 minus 700, which leads to, 1000 minus 300. 300 options lapsed means, unvested options lapsed means 1000 minus 300. 700 option holders are only going to exercise their equity shares in future, right? Now, based on this information, we are going to calculate total employee compensation expenditure first. Total. I'm asking you the total employee compensation expenditure, which will be 700 into 120. How much it is?
84,000.
84,000. Sir, based on this available information itself, the total employee compensation expenditure was 84,000. But if you observe, we already debited employee compensation expenditure 48,000 at the end of 31st March 2011. At the end of 31st March 2012, 48,000. 48 plus 48, how much it is?
96,000.
That means
96,000.
96,000 is more than enough for me. 96,000 is more than enough for me. That is total employee compensation and the total ESOP outstanding, which is the outstanding liability. So total ESOP outstanding required for me was only 84,000. But if you observe, under ESOP outstanding, the total amount balance was 48 plus 48, 96,000 is there. So 96,000 avasharam ledu. It's required for me. The total itself is 84,000. Then tell me how much excess balance is there under ESOP outstanding?
12,000.
Excess balance exists in ESOP outstanding is equal to already there 96,000, required only 84,000. The difference, how much ma? 12,000. What I have to do, sir, and transfer to general reserve. Yes, always the excess balance, the balance available ESOP outstanding should be transferred to general reserve. Sir, on behalf of creating employee compensation expenditure and ESOP outstanding liability, here the excess balance under ESOP outstanding simply transferred to the general reserve. That is the adjustment entry you are going to pass. Why? Because the situation right now was completely different. 300 unvested options were lapsed. Hope you understand this important point, friends. This is the important point. The general entry will be ESOP outstanding account data to general reserve account. So the amount will be 12,000. Amount will be 12,000. So hope you understand things up to 31st March 2013. Things up to 31st March 2013. Now, as on 30th/6/2013, what happens are 600 options exercised by employees. Come on, friends, all of you participate at the time of exercise. At the time of exercise, which will be 30th/6/2013. 30th/6/2013 in bracket as on date of exercise. As on date of exercise. I take a comprehensive problem which discussed the entire insights related to ESOP. So that's why I spent this much of time on problem number 2, illustration number 2. So 30th/6/2013 as on date of exercise. Come on friends, what is the journal entry? Bank account data. Bank account data. Sir, how many number of options are going to exercise by the employees, sir, and 600. 600 into
600.
Sir, how much amount you can recover from each employee, sir, and that is exercise price. Exercise price is how much? Exercise
40.
price 40. So 600 into 40. How much it is?
24,000.
4,000.
It is 20.
4,000. 24,000.
Okay, 24,000. ESOP outstanding account data. ESOP outstanding account data. That is 600 options into value of option, which is nothing but value of option, which is 120. Or you can derive as a balancing figure also, no issue, which will be 72,000. To equity share capital. To equity share capital in bracket 600 options into face value 10 rupees. Is given face value in the problem. So nothing given, let us assume 10 rupees. Let us assume 10 rupees. So tell me 600 into 10 means?
6,000.
How much was 6,000? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
To securities premium. To securities premium. So 10 rupees is issued, 10 rupees, the real market price. The real market price in the market was 160. Am I right? So 10 rupees, the real market price 160 means the securities premium, how much, ma?
150.
150. So 600 into 150.
90,000.
90,000. So if the total of the debit aspects match with total of credit aspect or not, you can check it. 72,000 plus 2496, 6 plus 90,000.
Yes, sir.
Here also 96,000. Next still not over. Problem still is there, friends. Sir, after 30th/6/2013, the last date of the exercise was 1/10/2013. Up to 1/10/2013, no other employee is ready to exercise any option. Then 100 vested options lapsed. Sir, 100 vested options lapsed means still something is there under ESOP outstanding, right? How much is there under ESOP outstanding? Can you please tell me? Which was 100 into 120. 100 into 120, which was 12,000. మీరు ఎలా అయినా చెక్ చేయొచ్చు. Or you can check like this. Sir, after passing this entry, that is 96 minus 12,000, 84,000 is there. ESOP outstanding required was 84,000 is there. Out of 84,000, you only utilized 72,000. Then can you please tell me 84,000 minus 72,000, which leads to 12,000. So still the balance appearing under ESOP outstanding as on 30th September 2013. So 100 options, vested options lapsed. So the balance related to them under ESOP outstanding account, which was 100 into 120, which leads to 12,000. Or you can cross check in another way also. Just now I checked it. To general reserve account. So ESOP outstanding account data to general reserve account. So these are the different entries passed at different time, but the base itself is the diagrammatic representation. At the end of the first year, employee compensation to ESOP outstanding, P&L to employee compensation expenditure. At the end of the second year also the same entries. But at the end of the third year, so still part of the period was vesting period. Under the vesting period, 300 unvested options were lapsed. That's why we are reviewed. The name director review. We are reviewed the total employee stock option outstanding account. So the required amount will be 84,000. But already we recorded through the extent of 96,000. So the excess balance exists under the ESOP outstanding should be closed and transferred to general reserve account. Then as on data of exercise, which is the as usual entry, bank account data, ESOP outstanding account data, to equity share capital to securities premium. So after exercise period, also 100 options were lapsed, which are technically known as vested options lapsed, due to which the balance which was appearing in the ESOP outstanding account, no need to utilize. So that's why that such balance should be closed and transferred to general reserve account. That's it, friends. That is the end of illustration number 2. So can you please tell me, friends, is it understand by everyone? Illustration number 2, do you have any doubt? Please let us check with the chat box quickly. Is it clear? Is it clear? Sir, clear, sir. Just one. Priyanka, no doubt, sir. Fine, ma'am. Absolutely fine. Hope you understand. So then let me proceed with next illustration, which was illustration number 1. Before proceeding with illustration number 1, just I want to explain one single concept. So let me explain that concept and proceed with illustration number 1, friends. Illustration number 1. First, let me explain the concept. That's not related to purest problem. That is a general concept. Okay. So, and that thing should also applicable under illustration number 1. I'm not talking about illustration number 1. First, concentrate. Sir, if date of grant, date of vesting, date of exercise are in same financial year, no need to raise ESOP outstanding account. So that is the base. If date of grant, date of vesting, date of exercise are in same financial year, no need to raise ESOP outstanding account. Sir, can you please elaborate the sentence which was drafted by you? Yes. So let us assume date of grant. Let us assume date of grant is equal to 1/4/2010. 1/4/2010. And the vesting period, let us assume the vesting period will be 9 months. The vesting period will be 9 months. Can you please tell me, friends, the date of vesting will be 31st December 2010. Am I right? So 6 plus 3, 9 months. Exactly 9 months vesting period. And the date of exercise, or last date of the exercise, 31st March 2011, which is the exercise period is equal to 3 months. So number of options, let us assume 100, and a value per option, let us assume 20. Now, what is the accounting treatment, sir? You can directly pass accounting treatment at the time of issue of shares. That is, as on date of exercise, you can directly pass the journal entry. What is the journal entry, sir? Bank account data. Number of employees 100. Sir, exercise price, let us assume 30. Let us assume how did you get this 20 rupees, sir? That is value per option. Market price was 100 and exercise price was 80. So the difference is nothing but 20. So bank account data 100 into 80. How much 100 into 80? 8,000. Employee compensation expenditure account data. There is no liability created. Sir, liability create చేసి తర్వాత సెట్ ఆఫ్ చేయడానికి లేదు. అసలు నేను ESOP outstanding రైజ్ చేయలేదు. Directly I should put it as an expenditure. Employee compensation expenditure account data. How much, sir? Which will be 100 into 20 value per option, which is 2,000. To equity share capital, 100 options into 10 rupees, which leads to 1,000. To securities premium, 100 options into 90, which leads to 9,000. So total of debit aspect is equal to total of credit aspects. That means you can directly record as an expenditure on behalf of recording the liability. So right now there is no liability at all. There is already expenditure itself is incurring. That's why no need to raise the liability. After that you can utilize that liability to set up the discount. No need to get all such aspects. You can directly raise the expenditure and such employee compensation expenditure you can close and transfer to P&L account. That is P&L to employee compensation expenditure 2000. Sir, when it holds good, sir, and date of grant, date of vesting, date of exercise, all are in same financial year. Hope you understand. Then no need to pass the due entry again. You can directly pass the issue entry. Now let us proceed with illustration number 1, friends. Now let us proceed with illustration number 1. So this is the concept. Till now, I discussed only the concept. You may confused at the time of recording the class records. So solution. So solution started from here. Now let me check the problem first. Rahul, can you please start reading illustration number 1 now?
A company has its share capital divided into shares of 10 rupees each. On 1st April 2011, it granted 10,000 employee stock options at 40 rupees when the market price was 130 rupees. The options were to be exercised between 15th March 2012 and 31st March 2012. The employees exercised their options for 9,500 shares only. The remaining options lapsed. The company closes its books on 31st March every year. Show journal entry.
Fine. Consider, friends, very easy, only one entry. Company has its share capital divided into shares of 10 each, face value 10 rupees. On 1st April 2011, it granted 10,000 employee stock options at rupees 40. Exercise price will be the 40 rupees when the market price was 130. May I know the value per option?
90.
Correct. 90. 130 minus 40, it will be 90. The options were to be exercised between 15th March 2012 and 31st March 2012, which is the exercise period. The employees exercised their options for 9,500 shares only. The remaining options lapsed. The company closes its books on 31st March every year. Show the journal entries. Tell me one thing, friends. Sir, date of grant 1st April 2011. Date of grant 1st April 2011. Date of vesting 15th March 2012. How do you know, sir, date of vesting will be 15th March 2012? He clearly said that from 15th March 2012 to 31st March 2012, employees can exercise their options. That means 15th March 2012 is the last date of the vesting, which is nothing but date of vesting. So exercise period will be the 15 days. That means date of grant, date of vesting, last date of the exercise, all are in the same financial year. Now I can directly pass the issue entry. So the journal entry, consider, friends, all of you participate. I need your insights here. Bank account data. For how many number of options exercised by the employees? 9,500 shares only. That is 9,500. Exercise price how much?
40.
40. 9,500 into 40.
3,80,000.
3,80,000. Okay, you are absolutely correct. ESOP outstanding account, employee compensation expenditure account.
Employee compensation expenditure account.
Correct. How much, sir? 9,500 into value per option 90. 9,500 into 90.
8,55,000.
8,55,000. To equity share capital. 9,500 into face value given 10, right? How much? 90.
5,000.
To securities premium. So outside market, the market price was 130. If 10 rupees is the face value, 120 is the premium, right? 9,500 into 120. How much, ma'am?
11,40,000.
11,40,000. So can you please cross check total of debt aspect is equal to total of credit aspect or not?
Correct, sir.
Correct, right? Fine. Sir, 500 options lapsed because, sir. Vested options lapsed because, sir. The balance appearing under ESOP outstanding should be transferred to general ledger, sir. There is no ESOP outstanding account at all. All are happened in the single time, right? In the same financial year. So that's why there is no ESOP outstanding account was raised here. సో కాబట్టి ఫస్ట్ లో 10,000 ఎంప్లాయీస్ కి నేను ఒకవేళ ఈసాప్ అవుట్ స్టాండింగ్ అకౌంట్ క్రియేట్ చేసి ఉంటే ఎక్సెస్ 500 ఎంప్లాయీస్ ఉన్న ఈసాప్ అవుట్ స్టాండింగ్ బ్యాలెన్స్ might be transferred to general reserve. But right now, ESOP outstanding account itself was not raised by me. That's why no need to transfer any single rupee to general reserve. That is the end of solution for illustration number 1. One thing, such employee compensation expenditure should be charged to P&L. As you know, P&L to EC. That is a casual entry. 8,55,000. This is the first entry. This is the second entry. This is the normal. Okay. Hope you understand. Illustration number 1, friends. Illustration number 2 also completed by me. So let me go with next illustration without wasting much time. Okay. Very, very small problems. Rahul, start illustration number 3, Emma. Your participation should be needed. I think so, similar to illustration number 1. Start it.
Arihant Limited has its share capital divided into equity shares of 10 rupees each. On 1/10/2011, it granted 20,000 employee stock options at 50 rupees per share when the market price was 120 rupees. The options were to be exercised between 10th December 2011 and 31st March 2012. The employees exercised their options for 16,000 shares only and the remaining options lapsed. The company closes its books on 31st March every year. Show journal entries with narration as would appear in the books of the company up to 31st March 2012.
Okay, fine. Consider, friends. Arihant Limited has its share capital divided into equity shares of 10 rupees each, face value 10. On 1/10/2011, 1st October 2011, it granted 20,000 employee stock options at 50 rupees per share. Exercise price 50, number of options 20,000. When the market price was 120 per share. May I know the value per option? 120 minus 50, 70 rupees. 70 rupees, fine. The options were to be exercised between 10th December 2011 and 31st March 2012. If you observe, date of grant was 1/10/2011. Date of vesting, last date of the vesting period was 10th December 2011. Last date of exercise was 31st March 2012. Date of grant, date of vesting, and last date of exercise in the same accounting period, then we can directly go with the issue entry. The employees exercised their options for 16,000 shares only and the remaining options lapsed. The company closed its books on 31st March every year. Show the journal entries with narration as would appear in the books of the company up to 31st March 2012. Almost similar to illustration number 1. Till now what we have discussed. Just to quickly finish it off within 2 minutes, friends. Illustration number 3 answer. Concentrate. So bank account data. How many number of options exercised by the employees?
16,000.
16,000 per each and every option. How much we are getting? 50 rupees. 16, which was exercise price now? 16,000 into 50. How much?
8 lakhs.
8 lakhs.
8 lakhs.
Correct. Then employee compensation expenditure is of outstanding
Expenditure.
By compensation expenditure.
into value per option
Into
70. 16,000 into 70.
11,20,000.
20,000.
Correct. 2 equity share capital. 16,000 multiplied with 10, which leads to 1,60,000.
1,60,000.
2 securities premium, that is outside market price was 120, right? So 16,000 offered at 10 means into 110.
Into 110.
17,60,000.
17,60,000.
Okay, check it. Total of debt aspects equal to credit aspects or not. This is the first entry. The second entry, as usual, you know, employee compensation expenditure should be transferred to P&L. So that is the cash flow entry. So illustration number 1 and illustration number 3 are similar. Fine. So let us go with illustration number 4, friends. So chapter is very small. Once you are having command on the chapter related to concept, you can resolve any problem. Okay. So that is my assurance. Rahul, can you please start with illustration number 4 now? Very small problem.
Ajanta grants 120 share options to each of its 460 employees. Each grant is conditional on the employee working for Ajanta over the next 3 years. Ajanta has estimated that the fair value of each share option is 12 rupees. Ajanta estimates that 25% of employees will leave during the 3-year period and so forfeit their rights to the share options. Everything turns out exactly as expected. Required. Calculate the amounts to be recognized as expense during the vesting period.
Fine. No need to pass any journal entries. First, let me proceed with the requirement, then I will read the problem. Calculate the amounts to be recognized as an expenditure. How much amount you are going to recognize as an employee compensation expenditure during the vesting period? That is the question. Ajanta grants 120 share options to each of its 460 employees. Number of employees 460. Per every employee they are offering 120 shares. Each grant is conditional on the employee working for Ajanta over the next 3 years. Vesting condition was employee should stay with the organization for a minimum period of 3 years. Ajanta has estimated that the fair value of each share option is 12. Fair value of option itself is given. Fair value of each share option. That means fair value of option itself is given in the problem, which was 12. Ajanta estimates that 25% of the employees will leave during the 3-year period. So right now itself it is estimated that, sir, 1/4 of the employees are definitely will leave the entity. That is the estimation, best estimate. And so forfeit their rights to the share options. Everything turns out exactly as expected. Calculate the amount to be recognized as an expense during the vesting period. So let me check with our notes, friends. Let me check with our notes. Your participation should be needed, and some of the persons already they gave their gestures under the chat box. Okay, so let us proceed with me also. Illustration number 4. Right, illustration number 4. So number of employees 460, but they're estimated that 1/4 of the employees will left the organization. But they estimated that 1/4 of the employees will left the organization. That means number of employees are going to exercise the option according to the best estimate will be 460 employees into 3/4 into 120. So let me check here first number of employees. Just a second, friends. Number of employees going to exercise the option, going to exercise option is equal to existing number of employees of 460. Out of such 460, 1/4 will left, 1/4 into 460. May I know how many number of employees will be there? 345. 345 employees are going to exercise. Therefore, number of total options will going to exercise.
Sir, someone is waiting, sir.
Someone is waiting. No, nobody is there now. Now, Srivani, I admitted, ma. I admitted. Jashwant, I admitted. She is there. I think so. Just let me. Yeah, Srivani is there. Okay. Number of total options will going to exercise is equal to. Come on, friends. Tell me 345 into for each employee. How many number of options? Issued 120. 345 into 120. How much it is, ma?
41,400.
41,400.
40,800, ma?
41,400.
Correct. 41,400 options. Those are the number of options. Okay, 41,400. Now, so what is the requirements are? And calculate the amounts to be recognized as an expense during the vesting period. So vesting period was 3 years. Am I right? Vesting period was simply 3 years. Now, if it is 3 years, at the end of year 1, at the end of year 2, at the end of year 3, at the end. I'm talking about at the end. How much, sir? And 41,400 total. First, you should calculate the total employee compensation expenditure. 41,400 into per option. Value per option, how much? May I know? 12. 12 rupees directly given into 12. Divided by 3. Why? Because the total employee compensation expenditure, which is the total value per option, should be amortized over the vesting period. Na? Vesting period 3 years. Na? How much may I know?
1,65,600.
1,65,600. Here also the same amount. 1,65,600. Here also the same amount. 1,65,600. Same. Why? Because initially they estimated certain employees may left in the organization. So if some employees are left in the organization, we will know that fact at the end of the second year. Then the calculation will be different from 1 year to another year. But in the problem, nothing was mentioned. That's why we are assuming that such a number of employees left in the organization. We will know that fact at the beginning. At the beginning, that is as on date of grant itself, we will know. So that's why I simply segregated the total employee compensation expenditure. That is the total value per option among the different periods of the vesting period. That is different periods of the vesting time. Hope you understand, friends. So let me cross check the answer. 1,65,600, 1,65,600, 1,65,600, which is the cumulative. Which is the cumulative non-indent. Okay. So that is the end of illustration number 4, friends. Hope you understand. It's not a big problem. So let me proceed with one more big problem. Is there? Let me proceed with one more big problem. Illustration number 5. Start, Rahul, illustration number 5. This is a big problem.
P Limited granted option for 8,000 equity shares of nominal value of 10 rupees on at 80 rupees when the market price was 170 rupees. The vesting period is 4.5 years. 4,000 unvested options lapsed on 1st December 2012. 3,000 options were exercised on 30th September 2015. And 1,000 vested options lapsed at the end of the exercise period. Past journal entries for the above transaction.
Okay. So before proceeding with illustration number 5, just want to know some information from you, friends. So last date for applying the CA Inter November 2020 examination expired or is still there?
Expired, sir.
Expired. That means, did you all had already applied?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So persons who already applied for the May 2020 examination, no need to pay any excess fee, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. And centers were already allocated or yet to be allocated. That means all tickets, not at all issued, right?
Not issued.
Not at all issued, sir.
Okay, fine. So that means according to the known information, some IIT examination was already occurred. I think so. That is the stages are there, something stages. So something was occurred recently. I saw approximately 15 lakh students wrote their examination. It was a central level examination happened. So there is a more probability to occur the examination in the month of November. In the month of November, there is a more probability. So please plan all of you according to the system and all such other things, friends. Okay. There is very less probability to postpone according to my view. So please don't take it as a granted. All of you, please give your focus. Literally speaking, there are only 2 months. There are only 2 months exist. That is September, October. So that's why you can give your entire focus on the revision aspect as well as along with the classes. Okay. And one more thing, during the revision process, if you have any doubt, so please let me know. Either I will come up with an audio file or either come up with a video file. So persons who are not attending for the Shrestha classes itself, we are offering a doubts clarification. So persons who are attending for the Shrestha batch, definitely we will give our best friends. So during the revision time also, if you had any doubt, if you will get any doubt, please let me know. So definitely all the faculties of the Shrestha will definitely support you. Okay, so that information just I want to pass on to you before proceeding with illustration number 5. Fine, consider it, friends. An easy problem only, so nothing is great. We can easily try to complete it, but the problem size is big. P Limited granted option for 8,000 equity shares of face value 10 rupees each. On 1st October 2020, at rupees 80, when the market price was 170. The vesting period is 4.5 years. 4,000 unvested options lapsed on 1st December 2012. 3,000 options were exercised on 30th September 2015. And 1,000 vested options lapsed at the end of the exercise period. Pass the journal entries for the above transactions. Sir, after reading the problem, I want to do one thing, friends. If you observe the illustration number 2, the same thing was happened. Some of the unvested options lapsed, some of the vested options lapsed, some of the options exercised. Coming to illustration number 5, unvested options lapsed, vested options lapsed, some of the options exercised. The only difference is value per option is different, vesting period is different. That's it. So I'm giving you illustration number 5 as HW, friends. Please don't see the answer given in the study mat. You might be confused. So just apply the procedure for illustration number 2. What I applied, the same procedure you can apply. You can try to resolve illustration number 5. So let me put illustration number 5 as an HW. I'm writing here itself illustration number 5. So let me put as an HW, friends. Illustration number 5. Please resolve it as an HW, friends. Okay. It is big problem and moreover the similar problem. So why can't we discuss the similar problems? Okay. So let me take up the new problem, which not at all discussed till now. Okay. Hope you understand. Just I'm leaving illustration number 5. I compare with illustration number 2 also, which is big problem. Let us leave it. Coming with illustration number 6, friends. Start now.
Choice Limited grants 100 stock options to each of its 1,000 employees on 1/4/2011 for 20 rupees, depending upon the employees at the time of vesting of options. Options would be exercisable within a year it is vested. The market price of the share is 50 rupees each. These options will vest at the end of year 1 if the earning of Choice Limited is 16%, or it will vest at the end of year 2 if the average earning of 2 years is 13%, or lastly it will vest at the end of the third year if the average earning of 3 years will be 10%. 5,000 unvested options lapsed on 31/3/2012. 4,000 unvested options lapsed on 31st March 2013. And finally, 3,500 unvested options lapsed on 31/3/2014. Following is the earning of Choice Limited. Year ended on 31st March 2012, 14%. 31st March 2013, 10%. 31st March 2014, 7%. 850 employees exercised their vested options within a year, and remaining options were unexercised at the end of the contractual life. Past journal entries for the above.
So completely a different problem, friends. Completely a different problem. Illustration number 6 was completely different problem. Before explaining illustration number 6, just I want to tell you one concept, friends. The name of the concept is variation in vesting period. Variation in vesting period. Concept name itself is variation in vesting period. Concept is variation in vesting period. Concentrate, friends. if vesting conditions are related to, if vesting conditions are related to performance based conditions. If vesting conditions are related to performance based conditions, then vesting period should be estimated on the basis of information available, simply put, information available. If vesting conditions are related to performance based condition, then vesting period should be estimated on the basis of information available. Sir, we can't understand in the proper way, sir. Let me demonstrate, then you can understand. Sir, 1/4/2010 is the date of grant. Let us take 1/4/2010 is the date of grant. Sir, for example, if company attains market share, of 30%, if company attains market share of 30%, then employees will have right to subscribe certain number of equity shares. That is the vesting condition. At the end of first year, 31st March 2011, I checked the market share. Market share was only 21%. Now, can you please tell me, friends, at the end of 31st March 2012, the information available as on 31st March 2012, I unable to subscribe certain number of equity shares as on 31st March 2012. Why? Because I unable to comply condition. So company unable to get that market share. Now my best estimate is in the coming year, that is at the end of 31st March 2012, my market share exceed 30%. That is the best information according to my knowledge. That means I assumed that for the coming year, I will definitely comply the condition. That is my estimate only. That means as on 31st March 2012, I may comply the condition, then I can have a right to subscribe certain number of equity shares. At that point of time, I can assume date of vesting as a 31st March 2012. Then can you please tell me, as on 31st March 2011, at the time of recording employee compensation expenditure account to ESOP outstanding account, how much time period I can take in as a vesting period? Vesting period will be 2 years. 2 years now. Anyway, in the current year, I am unable to subscribe. Why? Because I know the real information. I estimated that in the forthcoming year, I may able to attain the market share of 30%. That's why, which is the last date of the vesting condition. So that's why, which is the date of vesting. So let us assume vesting period is equal to 2 years. Now, this was happened as on 31st March 2011. Now I went there. So now now I am as at 31st March 2012. Now I am as at 31st March 2012. Now as on 31st March 2012, what happens, sir? I checked the market share again. And the market share was 28%. My condition was, if it exceeds 30%, then employees will get a right to subscribe certain number of equity shares. Then as on 31st March 2012 also, company doesn't attain the market share of more than 30%. So that's why employees unable to exercise their options. Now let us assume according to the best estimate for the forthcoming year, definitely company retains the more than 30% share, then the date of vesting will be changed from 31st March 2012 to 31st March 2013. Now, based on the information available as on 31st March 2012, the vesting period will be 3 years. So, based on the information available as on 31st March 2011, vesting period will be 2 years only. I will agree. But based on the information available as on 31st March 2012, the vesting period will become 3 years. Such a concept is technically known as variation in vesting period. Variation in vesting period. This will in generally happen in case of performance-based conditions. Why? Because future is uncertain, nobody knows. So the vesting period initially we estimated may be changed. That means vesting period you decided initially should be reviewed at the end of each and every year based upon the best information available as on that date. Based on the best information available as on that date, you should recalculate the vesting period. According to that, you should recognize both the expenditure as well as a liability. Sir, in case of variation in vesting period, how will you resolve the accounting treatment? So what will be the accounting treatment? There is no change in the accounting treatment. Accounting treatment is same, friends. There is value of the option should be amortized over the vesting period. That's it. Over the vesting period. But up to 31st March 2011, I'm going to pass the journal entries on the basis of vesting period will be 2 years. But from the year 31st March 2012, from the date 31st March 2012, so vesting period will become 3 years. I will change the calculation part, but there is no change in the accounting treatment. So let me proceed with one illustration, which was illustration number 6. Then you can know how to handle the particular situation in case of variation in the vesting period. That is illustration number 6. Just a second, friends. Before going to illustration number 6, I will show you the theory part also related to variation in vesting period. So don't read the second paragraph. Only read the first paragraph. Rahul, can you please read the first paragraph only?
The vesting period, that is the time taken to satisfy the vesting condition, can be uncertain. For example, if employees are granted ESOP subject to the condition that the company achieves a 50% market share, the vesting period can be known only when the market share of the company actually reaches the specified 50% level. In these cases, allocation of option value for recognition as expense in a particular accounting period should be based on estimated vesting period. The initial estimate of vesting period on grant date should be reviewed and revised if necessary at the end of each accounting period. In case of revision of vesting period, the basis of allocation of option value to a particular accounting period should be based on revised estimate of vesting period.
Okay, so concentrate. Vesting period, that is the time taken to satisfy the vesting conditions, may be uncertain sometimes. For example, if employees are granted ESOP subject to the condition that the company achieves a 50% market share, the vesting period can be known only when the market share of the company actually reaches the specified 50% level. In these cases, the allocation of option value for recognition as an expenditure in a particular accounting period should be based on the estimated vesting period. This is important. Should be based on the estimated vesting period. The initial estimate of the vesting period on the grant date should be reviewed and revised if necessary at the end of each accounting period. In case of revision of vesting period, the basis of allocation of option value to a particular accounting period should be based on the revised estimate of the vesting period. Hope you understand the same concept explained by me just now. So let me demonstrate the practical illustration, then you can understand in a very clear manner. Rahul already read the problem, so let us go with the problem once again quickly. Concentrate, friends. Important problem already previously tested in the examinations. Number of times already tested in the examinations. I think so, which is the last problem also. Which is the last problem. I have 15 minutes time to close the session. So it is more than sufficient for me to close the ESOP also. Concentrate. Choice limited grants 100 stock options. Number of options 100 to each of its 1000 employee on 1/4/2011. On 1/4/2011. For rupees 20. For rupees 20, depending upon the employees at the time of vesting of the options. Options could be exercisable within a year. Options would be exercisable within a year. It is vested. That means the date of vesting over, the exercise period will be 1 year. The market price of the share is 50 rupees each. In the outside market, the share price was 50 rupees. These options will vest at the end of the year 1 if the earning of the choice limited is 16%. At the end of the year 1, if the earning of the choice limited is 16%, then entire options will be vested. Vested means they are ready for exercise. Or it will vest at the end of the year 2 if the average earning of the 2 years is 13%. Or lastly, it will vest at the end of the 3rd year if the average earning of the 3 years will be 10%. Performance based condition. Uncertainty will exist. 5,000 unvested options lapsed on 31st March 2012. That is at the end of the first year. 4,000 unvested options lapsed on 31st March 2013 at the end of the second year. 3,500 unvested options lapsed on 31st March 2014. Okay. Following is the earning of choice limited 31st March 2012, 14%, 31st March 2013, 10%, 31st March 2014, 77%. Consider all of you friends. At the end of the first year, earnings of the choice limited was 14%. But the required earnings should be 16%. Then, can employees able to exercise their options? Is it vesting period over? No. No. So according to the information available as on 31st March 2012, the best estimate will be, let us assume for the next forthcoming year, company will attain the earning capacity on average of 13%. For the 2 years, for the last 2 years, on average, it will attain 13%. Let us assume the best estimate. Then vesting period as on 31st March 2012 will become the 2 years. Why? Because my assumption was, my best estimate was, in the next forthcoming year, the company attains the average profit of 13% earning. Average earning capacity of 13%. That is my best estimate. That's why you can take it as a vesting period 2 years as on 31st March 2012. Now let us go to 31st March 2013. Can you please check the average 14 plus 10, 24? 24 divided by 2 means 12%. It didn't attain the average earning of 13%. Then again, it should be reviewed the vesting period. The next best estimate will be in the next forthcoming year. In the next forthcoming year, it will attain that. So lastly, it will vest at the end of the 3rd year if the average earning of 3 years will be 10%. So now as on 31st March 2013, the vesting period will be 3 years. The vesting period will be 3 years, which is nothing but variation in vesting period. Now, can you go to 31st March 2014? Can you please check it whether you satisfy the condition or not? 14 plus 10 plus 7, which leads to 31. 31 divided by 3, how much? 10.33. So, which will be more than 10%, friends. That means at the end of the 3rd year, it satisfied the conditions, which is the last date of the vesting period, which is the date of vesting. That means as on 31st March 2012, vesting period will be 2 years. As on 31st March 2013, vesting period will be 3 years. As on 31st March 2014, also vesting period will be 3 years only. Why? Because as on 31st March 2014, so employees can able to exercise their options. That is the only one change, friends, while compared with the previous products. Then one more thing he is given: 5,000 unvested options lapsed on 31st March 2012, 4,000 unvested options lapsed on 31st March 2013, and finally 3,500 unvested options lapsed on 31st March 2014. For which purpose this information is given, sir? The total employee compensation expenditure may be changed. Initially, the total number of options are 1,000 into 100. As on date of vesting, total 1 lakh options are there. But as on 31st March 2012, if 5,000 options were lapsed, means 1 lakh minus 5,000 means only 95,000 option holders will able to exercise the option. That is the information available as on 31st March 2012. If you go to 31st March 2013, one more 4,000 options were lapsed. The 91,000 option holder will only able to exercise the option. If you go to 31st March 2014, minus 3,500. That means only 87,500 option holders will only able to exercise the option. According to the number of option holders will able to exercise the option, we should calculate the total employee compensation expenditure and according to the total employee compensation expenditure only, we are able to amortize under the vesting period. For that purpose, that information may be useful. Okay. Apart from all these things, some more information is given. 850 employees exercised their vested options within a year, and the remaining options were unexercised at the end of the contractual life. That means some of the vested options are also lapsed. After completion of the vesting period, during the exercise period, some of the employees only exercise their options, and some of the employees are unable to exercise their options. That's why the remaining vested options are also lapsed. Pass the journal entries for the above. This is the problem, friends. This is the problem. So now let me proceed. Exactly 10 minutes were available to me. I can finish it. Illustration number 6 within 10 minutes. Concentrate, friends. All of you. Important problem. So already started. Illustration number 6. Let me start with solution part. Let me start with solution part. So tell me, what are the different periods given in the problem? That is 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14. 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14. Particulars, let me first proceed with working note. Then I can easily finish it off. Journal entry. Particulars, 31st March 2012. 11, 12, 11, 12, 31st March 2013, 12, 13, 31st March 2014, 13, 14. These are the 3 different years given. Am I right? Now, consider, friends, all of you. Sir, based on the 31st March 2012, 5,000 unvested options were lapsed. It was clearly given. So first I will start with number of options going to exercise. Based on 31st March 2012 information, out of the total option, 1000 into 100 means 1 lakh option, 5,000 unvested options lapsed means the total options available were 1 lakh, but out of that 5,000 options were lapsed, 95,000 options are going to exercise. That is the best information available as on 31st March 2012. As on 31st March 2013, 95,000 minus some more options are lapsed, which were unvested only 4,000. Minus 4,000, which leads to 91,000. In 31st March 2014, 91,000 options minus 3,500. Just as on the particular date, how many number of options going to exercise? Just we are calculating. So 91,000 minus 3,500 means 87,000.
500.
Now, can you please tell me, friends, value per option given in the problem? It doesn't change. It doesn't change for date by date. So just to take it, value per option, how much? Market price of the share was 50 and the exercise price was 20. 50 minus 20, 30. Value per option 30. As on any date, it doesn't change. It doesn't change. Vesting period, just now we finalized. As on 31st March 2012, we are unable to attain the given earning rate. So the 16% is required, but we are at 14%. So according to the best estimate, as on forthcoming year, we may achieve on average, that is 13%. That's why I put the best estimate was 2 years as a vesting period. As on 31st March 2013, I unable to attain, so I reviewed the vesting period, which will be 3 years. As on 31st March 2014, I achieved the target, so again 3 years, which will be the vesting period. Now let me calculate the total employee compensation expenditure. Total employee compensation expenditure. So which will be A, which will be B, which will be C, which will be D. Total employee compensation expenditure is nothing but A multiplied with B. Number of options are going to exercise into B. As on 31st March 2012, based on that information, 95,000 options are going to exercise in the future. So 95,000 into 30, how much it leads to? 28 lakh. 50,000. Based on 31st March 2013 information, 91,000 into 30, which leads to 27 lakh 30,000. Based on 31st March 2014 information, 87,500 into 30, which leads to 26 lakhs
25,000.
5,000. Which are the total employee compensation expenditure. The originally 26 lakh 25,000 only, I will also agree. But I know this information as on 31st March 2014. Based on 31st March 2012, it will be 28 lakh 50. Based on 31st March 2013, 27 lakh 30. Based on 31st March 2014, 26 lakh 25,000. Sir, if years time is passing, then only we know the accurate information. Up to that, as on particular date, according to the best information, I will provide the accounting treatment. Now, the next thing was employee compensation expenditure up to current year. Up to current year. Sir, employee compensation expenditure up to current year is nothing but cumulative simply. Sir, why you are taking the cumulative, sir? I will tell you, just give me 2 minutes time. Sir, cumulative means this is only first year. Year number 1, sir, vesting period based on 31st March 2012 information, vesting period will be 2 years. Cumulative here, 28 lakh 50,000. Vesting period divided by 2 years into 1 year is the cumulative. Then we will get, which leads to how much more?
14 lakh 25,000.
14 lakh 25,000. Now, based on 31st March 2013 information, the total employee compensation expenditure was 27 lakh 30,000. The total vesting period will be 3 years. This is per year. Cumulative means multiplied with 2 years. How much it is?
18 lakh 20,000.
18 lakh 20,000. Correct. Which was cumulative. So coming to the last year, friends, that is third year. So 26 lakhs 25,000 based on the last year information divided by 3 years into 3 years. I need the total, which will be the same, 26 lakhs 25,000. Next, employee compensation expenditure to be recorded in current year. ఆ ఇయర్ లో ఎంత రికార్డ్ చేయాలి సార్? ఆ ఇయర్ లో నేను ఎంత రికార్డ్ చేయాలి సార్ అంటే it's very easy. Concentrate all of you friends. In that particular year, first year, which was 14,25,000 only, which was year number 1. Cumulative అంటే అంతకు ముందు ఇయర్ లో ఏమైనా ఉందా? 0. So coming to second year, which was a cumulative, up to second year, which was 18,20,000, but up to first year 14,25,000 means I already recorded 14,25,000. How much excess you are going to record?
3,95,000.
8 lakh, entama? Sorry?
3,95,000.
3,95,000. Up to 2 years, I recorded 18,20,000. But up to 3 years, which was 26,25,000. The third year, how much I am going to record?
8,05,000.
8,05,000.
5,000.
So for that purpose, I prepared the working note. Sir, at the end of year number 1, I am going to record 14,25,000 as an employee compensation expenditure. At the end of year number 2, I am going to record 3,95,000. At the end of third year, 8,05,000. Now the journal entries will be very easy, friends. So let us start with 31st March 2012. Concentrate. 31st March 2012. Journal entry: employee compensation expenditure account data to ESOP outstanding account 14,25,000. Over. First entry over. Second entry, P&L to ECE. That is the casual entry. P&L to ECE 14.25 lakh. 14.25 lakh. Now coming to 31st March 2013. Employee compensation expenditure account data to ESOP outstanding account. Come on, friends. 3,95,000 already calculated now. No need to take any pain. P&L to employee compensation expenditure 3,95,000. Over. Coming to 31st March 2014. Employee compensation expenditure account data to ESOP outstanding account. 8,05,000. 8,05,000. Here also 8,05,000. P&L to employee compensation expenditure 8.05 lakh. 8.05 lakh. Now let me continue the problem. Only one sentence is there, which was the last sentence. 850 employees exercised their option. So let me check the entries also if you want the amounts are correct or not. 14,25,000 correct, 3,95,000 correct, 8,05,000 correct, right? All things are correct. Now if you observe 850 employees exercised their vested options within a year. Within a year, he told, sir, within a year means let us proceed with 31st March 2015. Exercise 850 employees are exercise their options means bank account data. So tell me friends, 850 employees exercise their vested options given. 850 into per option, how many per employee, how many number of options? 100. 850 into 100. Sir, bank, how much amount we got? 20 rupees as exercise price. 850 into 100 into 20.
17 lakhs.
1 second. Just a second, friends. So one note is running. Correct. 850 into 100 into 20, right? How much, ma'am?
17 lakhs.
17. Okay, fine. That's great. 17 lakhs. Next, ESOP outstanding account. ESOP outstanding account data. That is 850 into 100 into number of options into value per option. So value per option, how much? We get 50 minus 20, which is 30, right? We have to close it. 850 into 100 into 30. 25 lakh.
25 lakhs. 50,000.
50,000. To equity share capital, 850 into 100 into 10. So securities premium, 850 into 100 into outside market 50 rupees into 40. Can you please tell me this amount? Equity share capital, how much?
50,000.
8 lakh. 50,000.
34 lakhs.
34 lakhs. So total of
30,
data 40.
Sir, equity share capital.
34 lakhs securities.
Sorry, ma'am. Equity share capital, right? Only correct?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So this is a thing happened as on 31st March 2015. Now consider all of you. Sir, ESOP outstanding balance, can you please check it, friends? ESOP outstanding balance, the total balance will be here exists itself 26,25,000. Kavalante total cheskondi ikkadiki first year plus second year plus third year check cheskunte 26,25,000. But you utilized only 25,50,000 only. So excess balance is there under ESOP outstanding. How much? That is 26,25,000 minus 25,50,000. How much?
75,000.
75,000. That ESOP outstanding balance should be closed and transferred to general reserve, which was 75,000. So in the free time, if you want to check it, the ESOP outstanding balance inte vastundamma, and the total 26,25,000. But we utilized only 25,50,000. So the remaining balance should be transferred to general reserve. So let me cross check finally also. So general reserve transfer to general reserve 75,000. That is the passing entry. That's it, friends. That is the end of employee stock option plan. Officially, I completed. So one more HW just I want to give it to you. HW, one more HW. Please check it. 2019 May and November examination problems along with MTPs. Please resolve. It is your responsibility, friends. If you have any doubt, please let me know. So bye, friends. Have a nice day. Have a great time with you for today, friends. Bye.